All right, so I get some of you, I don't know, maybe all of you, I'm not sure, have seen this demo, but it's been several months. And unless you've used it, you probably don't remember anything or not really remember much. And this is a tool that we use at a fair number of our clients, and it's definitely something that I think you should be aware of. When you go to a client, and as being something that we have, a tool that we have that will run under Windows, it'll run under Unix. And so with that, I will proceed. So this is our scheduler. It's formally called IQ Schedule. And there's two broad parts of this, two broad modules. There's what you see here, which is the setup, where you specify the jobs, the programs that you want to schedule. And there's a whole bunch of functionality here, and that's what I'll be showing you. And then there's the second part, or second module, so to speak, which is the actual jobs being scheduled. So, once you define the jobs as, run this, every night, whatever, and then there's this other SAS program that takes over, so to speak, and submits the jobs, monitors the jobs, and informs the GUI, so to speak, when jobs are completed or if they're in error, etc. So, with that, you can see there's quite a few things on this screen. Basically, what you see here are there are three programs or jobs. They're synonymous that I've currently defined, and you could see the status here. For example, this job is currently queued. These two jobs have completed. There's a whole bunch of fields here which I'll go over. But I think maybe I'll start with, how do you assign a job to the scheduler? So you click on the Manage button. And again, there's a whole bunch of tabs here, so don't be scared. If I want to add programs, so add programs, select programs to add, program halted. That's nice. We're off to a flying start. Let's see, what? I have no idea. Oh, because that doesn't exist. Okay. I copied this over from another computer. That's probably it. So if I go over here, yeah, there you go. Okay. So this screen here allows you to select jobs to be scheduled, but it'll also tell you jobs that are currently defined to the scheduler. So you see here, 3 programs in the selected folder are currently defined to the scheduler. So these 3 jobs I already had defined. So for sake of illustration, let's say I want to add a new program. So I click that, I save my selection, and it appears here, 1 program to be added. Now, what do I want to do with this program? Well, there's one main thing I want to tell the application, and that is, okay, when do I want to run this job? So I select a time period. So these are your choices, as you can see here. And I'll say daily. I want to run it, let's say, every day. And I want it to start ASAP, which is the default. Or if I don't want ASAP, which would be like 1 second after midnight, I can specify what time I want it to start. I can also have this kind of like almost like a protection thing here, that there could be something wrong with the system, or it's slow, or who knows what. So you want to start it, let's say, after midnight, but if for some reason the computer is hung up or some other jobs are running, there's some other contingent program dependencies, I don't want it to start after 5 a.m. So I can specify that. But normally you would just do this. I mean, I'll just do the simple case first, and then I'll show you that. So, so I selected my time period. The inception date, the default is today, but you could say I don't want this program to be active until July whatever, for example. So I click Add, and there it is. Now the reason you have choices here is that you can schedule the job multiple time periods. So you may want this job to run daily, start ASAP, but you may also want it to run, I don't know, for sake of discussion, illustration, let's say I may also want it to run, let's say, weekly on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at, I don't know, 12:06 p.m. Okay. So if I add that, so you see it says number 2 here. So it's scheduled twice here, daily and then weekly as I chose. Okay. And then finally save my choice of what I've done here. One program will be added to the batch scheduler. Thank you. One program added. Now if I go back to the screen here, and there it is. There's the one I just added. And it tells me it's going to run, tonight. Well, oh no, I said Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? So that's right, Friday at 12:06. Where's the other job? Oh, there it is. It's there twice, which is what I said, right? I want it to daily, so it's ready to be queued. And then also Friday at 12:06, based on the schedule. Here is daily start, and then here weekly. So if we go back into Manage, and if I want to change some aspect of that, I can go here, Change. So there's a similar screen to the ad, but here you can change what you've specified for scheduling. So let's say I want to change that schedule. You see here the schedule says multiples for this program. So for sake of discussion, let's say the daily, instead of ASAP, I want it to start at, I don't know, 1 a.m. Okay. And then, again, remember we had 2 over here. And here, what do I want to do? I don't know. Let's say 12 a.m. Okay. Save the schedule changes. Changes saved. Go back. And I don't know. Did it do it? Doesn't look like it did it. Let's assume it did it. All right. Now, there's a lot of other options, control that you have. Let's look at job dependencies. What's a job? What are job dependencies? That enables you to tell the system that I want to run a given job only after another job has already finished. So we call that, successor and predecessor. So you can see I already have a couple of them defined. I've already specified that this program, Demo 2, will run only after Demo 1 completes. And the same thing, Demo 3 will only run after Demo 1 completes. And the way you do that, let's add a new one. So let's say Add. So I just added a blank row essentially here. Click here. So I choose whatever, let's say I want this one I just added to be a successor to this one. So Dem 1 is successor to Demo 3. And save that. Tells you 2 programs are currently in process, which is true. Click OK to save changes anyway. I'm going to say OK. And there it is. And you know, we have a couple of clients where we have like a lot of dependencies. Like, if you go into this table, you'll see a lot of rows. So it's a very useful thing, or it can be. All right. Okay, we'll forget about that. Any questions?
Hey, Michael, this is Jim Parker. I do have one question. One of the things I'm starting to hear a lot in the gaming industry is a lot of the operators are wanting to go to a near real-time data warehouse, whether it's updated every 5 to 15 minutes or whatever. Could this tool be used to basically do that?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
I'll show you. Oh, here. So let's go over here, and let's say I want to change this program, or maybe let's change this one, okay? In fact, this one is already defined. Coincidentally, it's already defined, because Steve and I have worked on this a few months ago, right, Steve? You don't have to say right. Okay.
Right, we did.
Okay. You can see there's a repeat here, check mark, which I haven't shown yet, but I'm showing now. Mm-hmm. So this job is defined as repeat, and in what way? How frequently? Well, this is defined as repeat this job every second. Basically, every second to 11:59. Basically, run perpetually. That's what this is basically saying. But you could change that to run every whatever 15 minutes, this kind of thing.
Excellent.
And I mean, and that'll do it. Okay.
Okay. And with that, sir, I'm going to drop off. I actually need to hit the road to head to a client account. But
oh, okay.
Thank you for answering the question. Everybody have a great holiday weekend.
Okay, you too. All right. So where were we? Okay. Okay. Check program sources. Hello? Can people hear me?
I can still hear you, Michael.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, no, because I got a message like from GoToMeeting said you are muted, and then you are unmuted. Well, I take that as a personal insult. Don't tell me what I am. Okay. Check program sources. So sometimes what you want to do is a given program, you only want it to run if a certain file exists. Like this is often used in like what we'll call like a messaging kind of environment, where you have this program and it's checking to see if a certain flag is set somewhere by some other program, and only then should the given program execute. So that's what this allows you to do. So you can see here I have a couple of them just set up here. Excuse me. Here you can specify either a file or table for it to check. So this one's a file. So what I'm saying is this program here, Demo 1, I want it to check for the existence of this program called r1.sas. And if it exists, proceed. If not, don't. Now you can see here you have choices. Action if the source does not exist. Okay, you have two choices, error or recheck. It could be an error or recheck. If I say recheck, if recheck, the number of minutes to wait before rechecking. So let's say that it's the situation I described where you have this program, it starts, let's say, it kicks off at, I don't know, 6 a.m. And it's checking for this existence of this file, r1.sas. And then let's say it doesn't exist at 6 a.m. Okay, well, you want it to recheck. Well, how many minutes do you want it to wait before rechecking? You can specify however many minutes you want in here. I mean, you could specify a decimal number too if you want to have, seconds, 0.25 or whatever. So here what I'm saying is I want the program to recheck every minute. And it's going to recheck, keep, being automatically resubmitted by the scheduler until it finds this r1.sas. You can also specify how many times you want it to recheck, because you may say, well, yeah, keep rechecking, but I don't want you to, recheck indefinitely. So recheck 20 times. So basically that means because I want to check every minute, it's going to check up to 20 minutes after the job, this job kicks off to see if this file exists. So the number of times to recheck before considered error. So it'll check up to 20 times, and if after the 21st time, after the 20th time it doesn't exist, this program will end in error. All right? Somebody say all right. Hello? Somebody say all right.
All right.
All right. Okay, somebody. I mean, lie to me. Okay. Pretend you're interested. Okay. All right. Check. Okay, so this is kind of, well, no, I was going to say similar. Kind of is and isn't to program sources. Check program targets. So this is when the program terminates, a given program terminates, you can say, I ensure that a given table or file exists at the termination of the program. So you say target type to check table or file. In this case, example here, I said, okay, when this program finishes, this data set called sasuser.class better exist. You also have a couple little options here. If it does exist, that it must have the specified number of records. Or it can't, or you specify that it cannot have more than a specified number of records. So that could be useful. Again, you know that this data set should exist when this program finishes, and you know, because you know your data, that it better have at least 1,000 records. Anything less is an error, so you would put 1,000 in here. That kind of thing. All right, moving right along. Program error handling. All right, this is pretty important because, as we all know, programs end in error. So what do you want to do? Okay, so what the scheduler will do will actually search for, when a program finishes, it'll actually parse the log to looking for the keyword, error : and it will essentially report an error. So that program finished in error. But you have some choices here, okay? So the choices are resubmit. Now, you may say, well, why would you want to resubmit if the program's in error? Well, that's a good question. The reason is that we have seen that, especially, I'll tell you, well, very specifically, whether we have, let's say, programs that use ODBC, the ODBC access engine, and sometimes they'll just time out. And you'll get because of the slowness of the ODBC connection, or something going on with the ODBC. It sometimes happens. It happens often enough. But if you were to resubmit the program like right away, it'll work. you won't have the error. And this is important because you may have, let's say, 100 programs, which we do have in some clients, and program number 38 sometimes has that error. Well, if you just terminated everything at program 38 and waited till the next morning to see it and say, oh, gee, look at that finished, let me just resubmit it, and so programs 38 through 100 will now hopefully proceed to execute. Well, now you've wasted probably like all night, so to speak, before you checked it. But this allows you to specify an actual error statement, as you can see over here, error text to look for in the log. So you can specify, because the errors are very specific. So you can specify the actual error statement to look for, and if it sees it, you can say, okay, resubmit. And again, similar to what we saw with the program check program sources, you can say if resubmit, number of minutes to wait before resubmitting. If resubmit, number of times to resubmit before it's considered an error. And then the error statement criteria begins with, or they say equals, begins with, or contains. So we have found this very useful. Big, big, big time saver. All right. Any questions? No. All right. Program excessive runtime control. What the hell is that? Well, actually, it should be pretty self-explanatory. You kill the program if it's still running after n minutes. I mean, you may know that, hey, look, this program always takes roughly an hour. Okay, at the outside, I'll give it 2 hours. But if it's more than 2 hours, something's definite. It's in some kind of infinite loop, and kill the program. So here, kill program if still running after n minutes. You specify the number of minutes, beyond which you need to take action to take after the program is killed. So there's two actions. You can so the program will be killed by the scheduler. But after that, what do you want to do? It could be scheduled for the next time. So let's say it's scheduled normally every day. So if it's killed, it'll be, if you select schedule for next time period, it'll run tomorrow. Or you can schedule, or you can specify resubmit. And this, you've seen this kind of thing before. So in other words, it'll kill it, but right away resubmit it. So resubmit number of times to minutes to wait, and the resubmit number of times to resubmit for consider error. All right, all right. Program-specific email. I'll come back to, because email is very important of any kind of scheduling process. You want to be notified when things happen, when things are in error, when things complete, stuff like that. Okay. So here's where, this is programs. You can have like a general email, like which I'll show later after this. So by program, you can specify what you're emailing, basically. So here, this particular program, demo 1, and you can have more than one condition for a given program, as you can see here. The same program, I have different conditions for emailing. So at the program, that's pretty obscure. So let's move on. You see, there's a lot of choices here for emailing. You may want to be emailed when this program has started to run. Email when the program completed successfully. Email when the program completed an error. Email when the runtime is more than n minutes. When the runtime is less than n minutes. When the runtime is n% slower than the last runtime. N% faster. And so on. So you can see there's a lot of choices. And they're all, I mean, again, been using this tool for quite a while, and I find these choices personally, useful. And there's you specify email to. There's a group capability which I'll show in a minute. All right, any questions on this? This is pretty, pretty, well, it's all important, but any questions? No. Why am I not surprised? All right, batch scheduler status email. Let's look at that. Okay. Okay, these are your users, which I haven't shown you yet how you define users to the scheduler. That's done with this user groups tab up here. So these are the users that are currently defined to the scheduler. Okay, so if I select this one, that happens to be me, there's some basic options that you can specify. You can say that the email is active for the selected user or not, in which case he won't get any email no matter what. And this, in general, email ASAP when any program is in error. Before we saw program-specific email, but this is saying that if any program's in error, send an email. And then there's the batch scheduler status report, which is basically the same look as the previous, whoops, I guess you don't see it, as the previous screen, that same table in the form of HTML. And so when you get an email, you'll get also a status report, basically. Well, let me go back and show you. Basically get this in an HTML form. Excuse me. All right. All right. Now, in the table, I haven't. There's a lot of actions actually that you can do on the jobs themselves. So, what do I mean? Well, let's click that and then right-click, and you'll see all these choices, some of which, depending on the status of the job, are grayed out. You can activate a job, deactivate a job, run now. I don't know why that's grayed. That should not be grayed, but anyway. You can dequeue it. Save this one here. Let's see. And you see if I selected this one to be dequeued, it shows you what you chosen. You haven't actually dequeued it yet. You just selected it to be dequeued. Then this button is execute the actions. Action, action. And you can see now it's not. It used to say ready to be queued. Now it's not. Now it will next run tomorrow. Conversely, I could say run now. So it's scheduled to run, as you can see, tomorrow, well, early in the morning. But if I say run now, execute actions, ready to be queued. And again, you can kill a running job. Okay, there are no jobs that are currently running, etc. Now, I'm not going to go over all of these. You probably won't remember anyway. Oh, I should point this out. This gives you like a global summary of all the jobs. There's total 5. 5 are active, 0 inactive. Status, there's 1 complete, 0 running, 1 queued, 0 waiting, and blank 3 because blank, blank, blank. I want to show you, you can look at history, and this is, well, let me just do it. Now, again, I don't have that here. I haven't run this in a while, so that's why you only have 1 bar, I guess, or something. Let's see, first available date, June 3rd, 2010. Didn't do it, did it? Hey, come on. I guess there's, let me see. I don't know. They should have changed. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. So, oops. I guess that program ran many times. Be patient with me. Yeah, come on, come on. Yeah, this is not working. Okay, basically what this show you, this show you a bar graph of by day, if this is because this job is scheduled daily, of the run times. I don't know, will that be any better? No, I'm back to that. And you can click on a bar, and it'll tell you specifically what the figures are here, but there's such a crowded bar chart you can't see it. And again, this is not interesting because if this job took 1 second to run every day, so this is kind of boring to look at. But normally you'll see the bars go up and down. On different days, jobs tend to run different number of times. Run time. And again, this is because again I just moved things over to this computer. You will have the choice to view the log. So that's when you're trying to track down things, like why did this program take an hour yesterday, but took 30 minutes a week ago, and took 10 minutes 2 weeks ago. Why? Well, let me look at the log. That'll help me. And so when you click on the bar that represented that time, again, it's great because I don't have the logs. I deleted them accidentally. But this is not great. You'll be able to click on that, and it'll actually bring up the SAS log of that job, of that run. So I found that quite useful, especially when you have jobs that are problematic in terms of run time. Okay. Now, once to start the scheduler, because right now it's not. Remember I said there's two main modules. There's what you're looking at, what I've been demoing, and then there's the part that actually submits the jobs and monitors the jobs. So how do you start? It's called the batch scheduler. This is called the administrator. What I've been demoing is the administrator. The batch scheduler is what I said is the one, the module that controls and monitors the jobs. So to start, it's pretty simple. You just click on Start Batch Scheduler and Start Batch Scheduler, and that's it. Now it's not going to work now because again I just installed this on this computer, and you have to under Windows you have to set things up in Windows Schedule Tasks. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's see, did I copy this over? No, I guess I didn't. I thought I did. Like use good Oh, I may not have installed Adobe yet on this computer. That's why. Okay. Anyway, there's an actual PDF document that'll tell you tells you how to set up a Windows scheduled task to support the batch scheduler. And for that matter, there is a very extensive IQ Schedule Administrator User's Guide. We have a very extensive one. which is part of the, again, I don't have a PDF reader installed yet, so I can't show you it.
Michael, I have some questions.
Yeah.
Early on in the scheduler's life, there were some stored processes that could do limited administration. Do those still exist in this version of the scheduler or no?
No.
Okay. I'm just running into a client where they really don't like the RDP into the SaaS server. So, you know, it's just one of those things where if there was any capability through a browser for monitoring and stuff, it might be nice.
Okay. Which, by the way, I don't know what people are aware of, that this application here is written in SAS AF. This is not a browser-based application. This is SAS AF. Now, a client doesn't need to have SAS AF to run an application developed in SAS AF. So you can run it without having the SAS AF product, and that's how we've been using it.
But you do need the base SaaS product on that machine.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yes, and you need a windowing environment.
Yes.
Like if you're under Unix, it'd be like an X Windows kind of thing. Okay. Any questions?
The latest scheduler guidelines for what clients it's appropriate for, do we always just go through you to make sure, that kind of stuff?
Well, I would say you would coordinate up with Clive. You're asking, you know, before we blindly install it, should we coordinate that with somebody here?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Is that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
and making sure we have the latest. Is there a version that, you know, would be appropriate to install locally on some of our installs, just on our machines, so that we can get familiar with it?
Oh, that's a good point. No, there isn't. Not to my knowledge, unless somebody has done it, but I doubt that. Well, which machine should we put it on? We have so many computers now. I mean, should we put it the same one that well, I don't know. You two, again, I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't mind a local version just on my machine.
Oh, okay.
You know, I've got an old version, but I'd sure like a newer one.
Okay, well, let's
play with it.
Well, right. Well, it's in the staff zone.
Okay.
I mean, as you well know, Sarah, because you put it there.
Is that version pretty recent?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I haven't made changes in several months.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah. So okay. So that's a good point. The application, the IQ Schedule application, is available for your download on the staff zone. So like what Sarah is saying, if you want to just download it, and it's all point and click for the install. It better be. That's how I designed it. So you just download it, double-click the exe file, and it just does everything for you. It should set up the entire environment. The only thing it does, I'm sorry, everything. The one thing it does not do is define the Windows schedule tasks. But again, there's that PDF document that's under that help button that describes how to do that. And if you need help, you can always call me. But that's a good. That was a good point or question, whatever. A point/question. Anybody else? Is everybody's totally comfortable to download it, install it on their computer if need be, define jobs to the scheduler, and run them? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the right answer.
Michael, this is Ken.
Yeah.
Do you have the link to the download?
Well, I guess the staff, Sarah, do you have that? I mean, it's the staff zone. You still have to enter your password. But Sarah, maybe you can email that out. Sarah?
I'm just going to do a quick test, make sure everything's looking good, and then I'll email that out to
Staff, yeah.
Yeah, to staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and while you're at it, you may as well download, if people haven't done so, download Cataloger too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know that's a whole, for those who have not been much exposed or at all exposed, I don't know where to start with that. We would need to have another demo, multiple demos. But there are a few people, people who go back in time with Qualex who've sort of been with me as I developed it over the many, many, many years, who use it quite extensively. Right, Sarah?
Absolutely.
Right.
In
Even though
fact,
it's
just this last couple of weeks, we've used it at a new client for data exploration, validation, and getting, that dev prod migration stuff. So we're making sure things are properly in sync.
Right. Yeah, I like to hear that. Because I don't know what people, I know people like you're using it, but I don't know, specifically. So it's good to hear that.
Yep. So multifacets there, comparisons and for code, metadata, data, and just some actual profiling of data as well, data exploration. Yep. So
yeah,
I just sent out an email to everyone. If you have trouble, that's your staff zone ID and password are required for that.
Right. So if they don't have it or forgot it, they can just ask you, right?
Yeah, just give me a call or an email or a text or whatever, and I'll help you get sorted. Typically, it's your initials and then your initial password. If you update your email password or whatever, it won't update that password. So it's the first one you were assigned, although I can update it for you if you want it changed.
Okay. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Michael. How would you perform the install on a Unix box?
Differently.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's not. It's done more manually. Whereas under Windows, I was able to create an exe file that you just double click and it does its thing. I didn't know how to really do that under Unix. So basically, you got to do some C porting and C importing, and then basically just copy it over the whole structure. So it has multi-directory structure, and the good news there is that you don't have to set up the equivalent of the Windows scheduled tasks because it just runs the jobs in the Unix background.
Oh, it does. Okay. So it doesn't use cron at all?
No.
Okay. Yep. You answered my second question. Okay. Cool.
All right. But that's a good point, though. I probably should have a C-ported version available. So I'll put it on my list.
Along those lines, since we've now got so many 64-bit window environments, I believe what's up there right now is a 32-bit. So just be aware we'd have to go through some C-port stuff as well for a Windows 64-bit or maybe put up a different version.
Gee, another good point, Sarah.
Yeah.
Another.
I mean, it's not terrible. That C-port version you gave me, Michael, worked great.
Okay, but still, there's nothing, because I have both types of operating systems. I could certainly create an exe file for both.
Yeah.
Right now, the one that's there is 32-bit. And you will have problems if you try to run that with 64. Another thing on my list. Okay. No, but that's a very good point. Anything else? Okay, perfect timing. Well, almost perfect. Perfect enough. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody, and I'll speak to you next month, if not sooner.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for the demo.
Welcome. Bye.